Hey, what's going on? My name is Avi. Thank you so much for joining me today. Oh man, it just feels so good to be out here. Gotta say, it just feels so good to be walking on the beach. Temperature is primo right now, mid 60s. We got the sun setting behind us. I mean, just filled with gratitude right now. Like, I'm looking at the camera, just thinking everything's perfect about this moment. The lighting is perfect. The temperature is perfect. My body is free of pain, other than I'm dealing with a little plantar fasciitis. But right now, plantar fasciitis is feeling all right. If you've had plantar fasciitis, you know that once you walk a little bit, the pain starts to subside. So, but yeah, just feeling really good in this moment. Grateful to be recording. And also another thing that's interesting about this moment, which is the topic of this video, is that I am currently about 20. Let's see. I'm basically 20 hours fasted. I think just a little bit shy of that. Maybe somewhere between 19 and 20 hours fasted, and it's going to be going all night. So, going to be looking for about a 36-hour fast on this one. And I just am feeling so fucking good, man. I'm like, my whole physiology just, one of the things I love about fasting so much is that because you're not eating, right? Eating is a major source. It's one of the major sources of dopamine on an average day for most people, right? Every single time you have a meal, assuming that meal is decent and you enjoy the food, it's going to be a significant source of dopamine, right? So when you're fasting and you're not getting that source of dopamine, the brain, being a creature of homeostasis, upregulates the sensitivity of the dopamine receptors, right? In the absence of dopamine, it's like, we're going to increase the sensitivity of the dopamine because we're not getting that much right now. And we want to be able to act on the dopamine appropriately when it does come, if it's in a small amount, which right now it is in small amounts because we're fasting. What that means is that because your dopamine receptors are more sensitive, everything just fucking hits harder, bro. It's like colors are bright. I mean, not literally. I don't know if it's true, but the way it feels is like everything's just more vivid. Everything feels, I don't want to say everything feels good. That's just crass and not accurate. It's very unnuanced. But it's just like what you feel, everything's like more intense, more vivid. And yes, the good emotions feel better. I will say the hard emotions also feel a little bit closer to home too. They hit harder. You don't have as much of a barrier. But then also, like, I feel like emotionally I'm feeling pretty resilient right now. So the hard things, even though they're feeling kind of hard, because I am going through some tough like relationship stuff right now. Like, we're not really sure if we're going to continue, so that's tough. But it's like I have the emotional resilience to deal with it, which is sick. But it does hit hard. Anyway, point is though, like the dopamine, when your receptors are more sensitive, man, it just makes the day really, really nice. And I don't want to say fun again. That's overly simplistic, but I'm just like out here grateful, enjoying it, and things that are normally very basic and ordinary and mundane just feel good. They feel more good than they normally do, and I think it's how it should be, right? A hug from a friend, laughing with someone, journaling, just these like subtle things. They always feel good, I think, but like when you're fasting, you just really appreciate them, or at least I do. And I think a lot of that is from how fasting neurologically affects your brain. Now, that said, I wanted to share, that's actually not the main thing I wanted to share about fasting in this video. What am I getting at with this video? Well, a couple of different things. I think something that I have seen today, and this happens with every single one of my fasts, is, and I think this is like maybe the most important reason to fast. I don't know, there's so many important reasons to fast, but fasting opens up the door. It doesn't guarantee, but it opens up the door, the portal, for you to reconnect with yourself. What do I mean by that? Well, all of us, or most of us, are pretty fucking stressed out, right? 21st century America, a lot of us are working 40-hour jobs, or maybe even more than 40 hours a week, right? Living paycheck to paycheck. More than half the country is living paycheck to paycheck. Lots of financial stress. Lots of people are dealing with divorce or breakups or just being perpetually single and feeling alone, right? Lots of emotional stress. We have less things connecting us as a society than ever before, right? There's books like Bowling Alone that have really captured this. We have less community structures. People who are religious, fortunately, still have that. But if you're not religious, very difficult to get a sense of community right now. There's just less outlets for those sorts of things. We share less forms of media than ever before, right? Media has become highly individualized. 50 years ago or 60 years ago, my dad used to tell me, like, oh, you'd go to school and it's like, oh, did you see the Ed Sullivan Show? Yeah, of course, because there was 3 fucking channels. Everyone saw the fucking Ed Sullivan Show, right? So it's like, you have this like sense of tacit camaraderie and connection with the people around you for no other reason than like you guys are watching the same shit. Whereas now it's like, dude, you're on Netflix or Amazon, like what's the likelihood that if you watch some random episode of Grey's Anatomy that your coworker also happened to see that episode and you talk about it at the water cooler at work the next day, right? Basically zero likelihood of that. Not only because of the individualized media, but also the water cooler thing is kind of a thing of the past in a lot of ways too, with hella people working remote. And I mean, I work fully remote, so I don't even know. You guys can clue me into fucking, do offices even have water coolers anymore? Like, I don't know. But man, where the hell was I getting that? We've gone off on a whole thing here. Yeah, so we were getting at the individualized, people being alone. Point is, there's a lot of stressors, right? Lots of things occupying our bandwidth. People are feeling more strapped for time than they've ever been, right? We often think of poor as relating to money, but people are like time poor. People are time famished more than they've ever fucking been, dude. It's just like people don't fucking have time. And one of the stressors that comes from not having time is you don't have time to do your hobbies, which that is a form of stress. Disconnecting from yourself and what nurtures you. Stress is not just about things that actively tear you down, but it's also the absence of good, restorative, replenishing, rejuvenating things in your life, right? If you like to, I don't know, crochet or knit, whatever. If you like to do that and you just can't do it because you're so fucking time poor that you don't have the time to do it, maybe you've got a couple kids, you're working full time, whatever, that's going to sap your spirit, right? Quite literally suck your soul. If you're not able to do something that's really important to you, at least sometimes, like at least like once a week, hopefully more than that, but at least once a week. If you're not able to do that, if the last time that you've knitted and you really love knitting was like, I don't know, 6 weeks ago, it's like, dude, that produces a sense of darkness that captivates the soul, and not in a good way, right? Like, you get dominated by darkness, and that produces depression and people who feel like they're a shell of their former selves. That sucks to feel like you haven't engaged with something that was meaningful to you, that makes you feel alive for such a long time that you maybe don't even remember the last time you did it, dude. Like, your soul at that point is like a light that has attenuated so much that it's almost like it's not there anymore, but it fucking is. And this is coming back to why I love fasting. Well, that sounds funny to say out loud because I fucking hate fasting, right? Who doesn't love food? But it's just like a good workout, right? You or your personal trainer, you probably have a love-hate relationship with your personal trainer if you have a personal trainer. If you go to the gym, you probably have a love-hate relationship with that. You just know you got to do it, and it makes you feel better in the long term. Same thing with fasting. While you're doing it, that shit sucks. I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh yeah, like I love just not eating. Obviously, that would be very fucking weird. And I don't know, that sounds like some David Goggins shit or something. Like that's very weird. And I'm not David Goggins. I don't just sit here and revel in displeasure and pain for the fun of it, because that to me is not fun at all. That said, something that takes so much time that we don't even think about, because eating is such a fundamental part of human life. It's the city that never sleeps. It's the background noise we never even fucking pay attention to, because for most people, especially people who've never fasted, it's basic. It's fundamental. You have to fucking eat, right? If you don't eat, you're going to die. And of course, over time, that's very much true. You can't fucking just go months and months without eating, generally speaking, unless you weigh like 600 pounds. Even then, consult a doctor first. Don't take my word for that one. But it's like, yeah, it just becomes such a like given, or like such a deeply embedded, deeply entrenched assumption as a facet of our day that we need to eat, that we don't even fucking question. One, that like maybe you could go a day without it. And also too, we don't question like, yo, how much time does that actually take? Because when you really do the math and like total this shit up, it's not trivial. It's not trivial. If you're making healthy meals, which if you're not making healthy meals, then you're probably like going out and that takes fucking time too. Hell, even just sitting in your car and doing fast food takes time now. But if you're like making healthy meals and then eating the meal and doing the dishes and doing meal prep and blah, 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 like, yo, I don't know. I mean, depends on a variety of things like your cooking skills, what cooking appliances you're using, you know, what variety of food you eat, etc. But like that could be anywhere between like 1 and like 2 hours a day, maybe even 3 of cooking's like a passion for you and you put a lot of creativity into it. But like guaranteed it's at least an hour. And that's not trivial, right? For me, the whole process of eating meals, cooking them, doing dishes, yada, yada, I would say it's probably on the order of like 90 minutes, maybe 2 hours, depending on what meals I'm doing for the day. And you get all that time back, and that's so fucking cool, dude. How fucking sick is it to just randomly have a day where you get all that time back? It's so lit. And this, again, opens the door. It doesn't guarantee, but it opens the door for you to reconnect with yourself. And perhaps these parts of yourself that have unfortunately been neglected, been overshadowed, been just passed over and not prioritized, been overlooked because you live in 21st century capitalist America where you have to fucking work a job. By the way, I'm about to tell you something profound. Work sucks. Work fucking sucks. You have to go and fucking work this job for something you don't even give a shit about. And at the same time, because you're putting so much fucking time into that, you don't even have time to do things that you fucking love. How stupid is that? So you can't fucking take away the capitalist bullshit America, but what you can do is throw in a fasting day every now and then. And that fasting day gives you time to get back in touch with what you love. You know, what is it? And how will that make you feel differently? Not to mention the thing I mentioned earlier, which is your brain, because of the fact that you're not eating everything, your brain's going to be more sensitive to any drop, even the slightest fucking drop of dopamine. Your brain is going to be very sensitive to, which means that those hobbies, those passions that you've been neglecting, when you finally do engage with them, your brain is going to love it. It's going to love it. You're going to feel fucking awesome, even more awesome than you normally do when you do it, which is really cool. So that's a double whammy, a good double whammy, because normally double whammy means something bad, I think. But fuck it, it means something good there. You're going to do what you love, and your brain's going to be more sensitive to the pleasure you get while you're doing something you love. For me, today, I got a chance. I think, it is a work day, but nonetheless, like fasting gave me back a lot of time. What I use that time for, I got a really nice meditation session in, which, to be honest, I don't really want to meditate right now. I am like going through some relationship stuff, like I mentioned. And for me, meditating while I'm going through that just generally sucks because like it's pretty hard to escape those thoughts. But nonetheless, it was really good for me and it helped me get into like a nice relaxed state. I've been using an acupressure mat lately while meditating, and it's just like, shit's fucking dank. And I also got some journaling in, helped me process some of the emotions from what's going on with the relationship, which was good. And also I got some extra time to talk with my friend Peter, who I fucking love. He's my best friend. It's awesome. And we got a chance to talk. And often while I'm talking with Peter, I'll like cut vegetables and stuff. And I'll tell you, even though I can be fully focused in the conversation, and I am when I cut vegetables, it's just so nice to like be out for a walk while I'm talking with him, like not doing vegetables or eating. Even like I'll often be eating when I talk with him. Like I could just be like, wow, I'm taking a walk, and I think I'm my most present, honestly, when I'm taking a walk. Like right now, I'm the most present than I am like in anything ever. I just love taking walks. I love being outside. I love the gentle movement of walking, hopping over a little stream here. So yeah, just incredible. Got to do some journaling, some meditating, doing the thing with Peter, talking with him, shooting this video right now. That feels really good. Also gonna watch some Yu-Gi-Oh later. I'm fucking hyped on that. I've been like reconnecting with the Yu-Gi-Oh anime. So it's just like all these things that like Would I normally do those things on a day where I work? Maybe, but honestly, like not as often as I'd like. And that's just because work fucking sucks. And work takes away time to do that. But with fasting, you can push back. So in other words, like fasting is kind of a way of like pushing back on capitalism. I've never really said it like that, but it really is. It's a way of pushing back on capitalism. And not only in the way of like getting time back, which your job is unfortunately taking you away from that time, but also because you're not purchasing food that day, you're saving money, and you're boycotting capitalism in that way. So yeah, that's fucking dank. Okay, so that was one thing I wanted to talk about with fasting. The other thing I wanted to talk about is, wow, damn, that's a hell of a vert for being on a fast. I will say, I don't know if that's ever happened before. So that was pretty cool. Damn, I just got some sand in my shoe. That made me sound like I'm a little bitch. I didn't mean like, oh man, there's sand in my shoe. I didn't mean it like that. I was just like genuinely surprised. Because right now, like the sand is like very packed down, like with moisture, so it's not really like loose sand that would get in your shoe. Anyway, I'm belaboring that point. So the other thing I wanted to talk about though with fasting that I noticed this time is, and this is kind of getting into like some things that could maybe help you if you're trying to do a fast. And because I think like the way hunger, the cliche is hunger comes in waves, right? And it really does. It really, really does. But I think the thing I'd like to extend from that is kind of by definition, if hunger comes in waves, that also means that during your fast, it's like fasting has stages to it. There are stages of fasting, and the way to get through those different stages, of course, sometimes when you're just doing something you love while you're in the fast, like we just talked about, right? Like let's say you're going back to the knitting and you're doing knitting while you're fasted, that's great. That time will just pass and you probably won't have any issues with hunger. But it's like, how do you deal with the hunger pangs and the fact that there's these different stages of fasting that have different challenges, right? Every hunger wave, in my opinion, has like a different signature, if you will. They all feel a little bit different. So in that case, how do you deal with that? How do you get through the stages? And the realization I came to today is that I think a lot of things online focus on like, oh, have some tea or have some coffee. And I do not want to undervalue that. That is fucking huge. Like today I definitely had, a cup of black coffee within an hour of waking, another one like 4 hours after waking. I had a cup of tea like 7 hours after waking, non-caffeinated. And then another non-caffeinated one after this video. So that'll be, 11 hours after waking, something like that. But point is, those are great tools. And I do not want to devalue that or downplay their significance and how helpful they can be. However, I think to only focus on externalities, or even that's not even just externalities, that's like a specific type of externality, which is, it's not food because it's no calorie, like tea is no calorie, but it's a consumable, right? It's a biological consumable product. And I think to just focus on that is really limiting the tools in your arsenal as to how you can navigate those stages. It's kind of like if I just gave you like a beginner surfboard and I was like asking a professional to go and use it. Like, yeah, they're going to be able to do some badass shit, but like they're going to be severely limited and handicapped compared to having like their gear, like their top level, top notch gear. Same shit. If you're just using coffee and tea to navigate those stages, like you're just limiting yourself for no fucking reason, right? The key thing I think is whenever you're going through the stages and you come across a hunger point that's particularly difficult, the key is what specifically? The key is you have to find a way to change your state, and coffee and tea do that, which is great. But what are some other ways to change your state? We already talked about it in part 1 of this video. I'm calling it part 1, right? You could go and knit if that's your thing. You can go and do something you love, something you're passionate about. That's a way to change your state. You'll probably forget about hunger while you're doing that. That said, doing that all day is probably exhausting. We all have a limited amount of bandwidth, of cognitive resources that we can expend in a day. And as awesome as it is to do something you love, whether that be guitar, knitting, I don't fucking know, juggling, like as much as those things are incredible, they are exhausting. exhausting, not in a bad way, but just that they take resources. So you can't do them all day, at least not in a focused manner. And that focus, that flow state, sorry, got a little distracted there. That flow state is what is ultimately changing your state. That's responsible for the state change. So if flow state is one of your tools, coffee and tea are one of your tools, what's something else you can try, right? And chances are you might be able to get through the fast just on those alone. But if you need some other ones, work for a lot of people. I think fasting on a work day is actually, I used to think fasting on a work day was more challenging than a non-work day, because my thinking was like, well, work is stressful and stress kind of makes you want to eat. But I don't think that's true, actually. Work is like generally just a form of distraction for a lot of us. It is for me. And that actually does help, I think, with the hunger. Whereas a non-work day, you probably have a lot more open time. I will say if you have a non-work day where you've got a lot of fun stuff planned, that's great. That fast, I think, is the easiest variant of fasting, because you just have those fun things distracting you all day. But the second best is probably working. And then after that would be a non-work day where you have like a lot of open time. That's probably going to be a very hard fast, because you don't have many things distracting you from the hunger. So your thoughts will just kind of tend to wander over to like, fuck, I'm hungry. And that sucks. Like, that's definitely not fun. So that said, I think I'm actually going to take my sunglasses off. Nah, still too bright. Fuck it. Where were we? Yeah, so those are some state changes, right? The flow state thing, the coffee tea thing. What are some other things that can change state? One, taking a walk. If you feel hunger, go and take a walk. Like that, 9 times out of 10 really, really helps with mitigating hunger. And that goes not even just for fasting, that's just in general. Like that shit really, really helps. So taking a walk can change your state, can just relax you, because a lot of time hunger is like kind of this wanting. Obviously we want food, but like, I mean, like on a more psychological level, sometimes when we feel hunger, it's not even that we're biologically hungry. We're just kind of like, I just kind of want something, right? You're just kind of craving something. And therefore, you know, walking is nice because one, it's calming, right? I forgot how the nervous system works in this regard, but the left-right synchrony of the body, right? Synchronizing both sides of the body does something in the brain. I don't know the full science on that. I heard it in a Huberman once. So maybe someone can fill me in on that. But in any case, walking is relaxing. Very, very relaxing, especially if you're mindful and attentive. And yeah, I mean, right now I'm fucking relaxed. It's great. So, and when you relax, it can kind of help soothe that agitation or that restlessness that might actually be hunger, right? Hunger maybe isn't biological hunger as much as it is just, you just kind of want something. You just kind of want to hit a dopamine. And that can also be true on fasting, like when you're fasting as well, right? Dopamine is very low when you're fasting because you're not getting that major source of dopamine from food. So it's very likely that you might not even be biologically hungry. If you're feeling a hunger wave, you might just literally be like, man, I'm just kind of craving something to feel good, something to break this shit up. Because as wonderful as it is to have all that time back and be able to connect with things you love, that's also part of what's scary about fasting. You have way more time. Eating is often a break in the day. It's something that separates cognitive tasks and difficult tasks in general, right? Eating is literally a break. It's a meal break. It's a chance to relax. So if you don't have those meal breaks, you have to relax in other ways. You can't just get rid of the relaxation. You need periods or pockets throughout the day where you restore. That just makes sense. So where the fuck were we getting with that one? Got lost on another tangent. This is how it goes, guys, when you're fucking filming like a 25-minute video or whatever the fuck this thing's gonna be. Talking about hunger and pockets of break. Oh, just that, yeah, like walking is restorative. I think, like, how did that relate? Like, how did the walking relate to taking breaks throughout the day? I don't even fucking know, but you get what I'm trying to say. Like, walking is restorative, walking is relaxing, and you might not have as much restoration. Oh yeah, just that, like, when you're hungry, you're kind of agitated, you might be wanting something, you might be craving something, because you're just not getting that much dopamine, you're not getting that much relaxation during the day, because you don't have those meal breaks. So walking is another way to change the state. Cold shower, another amazing tool I have found as well. And you don't even have to do the full shower. You can just pop into cold water for a second. Believe me, that will totally distract you from your hunger. It's actually quite incredible how fast it will just take away your hunger because you just won't even be thinking about it, right? Cold water is the ultimate thing to just force you into the present moment, right? It's just, yeah, there's nothing like cold water that does that. So there you go. Those are some ways to change state. Having sex, dude. If you have a partner and you're on a fasting day, dude, go and have sex. That shit will definitely change your state. Will get you out of a funk. Whatever. Journaling. That, yeah. I'll say journaling depends. I feel like for me, depends on like where you're at. If journaling can actually help with like getting you through like those stages of fasting with the different hunger pangs. But those are some ideas. Back in my brain right now, if there's like any others that I feel like are just consistently super helpful. If you exercise on a fasting day, it will definitely, I feel like that one's a double-edged sword because if you go too vigorous on the exercise, it will actually just increase hunger long term, which of course, like, you don't really want that either. Yeah, that's not great. But if it's not super vigorous, I would say go for it. Exercise is a great way to do that. Hanging out with a friend, that's another way to change your state. Spending time socially is awesome. And there's also the additional friction too of like, if you guys are doing something that does not involve food, then that's just going to make it like, it's pretty much an external factor or an environmental variable that makes it impossible to eat, which is great. Like for example, like tonight I'm about to go to the Avatar The Last Airbender concert. I'm fucking hyped on that shit. And when you have something like that, like I strategically fasted today because I knew that after 5:30 p.m. it would not be possible to eat. I'll just be out at the concert and that's that. So you kind of like, that's part of like using your environment or like rigging your environment to work for you rather than against you. And that could work against you. Like if you're going to a social event with food, probably not a day to fast. Highly would not recommend that. You want to fast on a day where you really feel like you're in control of the circumstances. So I think that's it. Yeah, man. Fasting, connecting with what you love, getting some time back. Fuck, man. Let that fear flow through you. There will be fear. When you have that time back, you're like, what do I do with this time? Like, that's kind of scary. And it's probably likely that the first couple times you fast, you'll fuck around and waste that time or a good amount of it. And that's okay. Have kindness for yourself. Have compassion. Over time, you'll get better at it. The more that you do it, you'll be like, oh yeah, like this fear, I'm used to it. Like I'm used to being like, oh shit, this is more time than I'm used to. And I'm worried about wasting it. And what do I do with it? And you'll just be like, all right, take a breath. Rationally, what's something I want to do right now? What's something I haven't been able to do because I've been getting castrated by capitalist America and working this stupid job and whatever other stressors you're dealing with, right? So that's fucking lit. And then also, as far as getting through that fast, whenever you're coming across a hunger pang, just ask yourself like, hey, what's something I could do right now to change my state, right? Because chances are changing your state is all you need to move past that hunger and not be thinking about it anymore and not be tormented. Because that's the thing, like hunger is unavoidable in a fast, but what is avoidable is being tormented by the hunger to a severe degree. You do not have to be tormented. If you were fucking tormented the whole time you fasted, then like no one would fucking do it. It's about, just like anything, it's about learning to navigate it gracefully, learning to navigate it artfully. And, you know, you'll find what things change your state most effectively. Yeah. You know, whether that be the cold shower or walking or talking with a friend or, you know, connecting with your hobbies, whatever, you know, tons of options for you. Let me know sorry, got interrupted by a timer, but we're basically at the end of the video here. Yeah. Let me know what works best for you getting through the fast. Let me know what hobbies you connect with during your fast. Let me know what hobbies you connect with during your fast. And if you enjoyed this video, please feel free to give it a like. Subscribe to the channel for some more content in the future. And I hope you just have a wonderful day and enjoy the sunset with me. Enjoy the sunset wherever you're at. And go and spread some kindness. Yeah.